Hello, my name is Haj Gill and I'm the creator of the Speed Equity System, a revolutionary equity acceleration and mortgage reduction program that could help you slash years off your mortgage and save you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. This is not a bi-weekly payment plan. I'm also the international best-selling author of How to Own Your Home Years Sooner that explains my Speed Equity System in depth. I launched my system in Australia way back in 1997. And in that time, it has revolutionized the entire mortgage and banking industries in that country. It has helped over 500,000 people and is now in use in over 8 different countries. My Speed Equity System has also been reviewed and approved of by leading financial experts and publications, including the editor-in-chief of Personal Investment Magazine, who said it shows how you can cut the term of your home loan significantly. Your Mortgage Magazine said it gives us hope that we can achieve freedom from our mortgage before a ripe old age. You can read all these reviews and more on my website www.speedequity.com. In this brief presentation, I will explain the mechanics of my Speed Equity System and how you can use it to take advantage of the most important key principle in banking to slash years off your home loan and save tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. And that is that the interest on your mortgage is calculated on the daily balance. Let's say you took out a mortgage for $250,000 on January 1st at 6% over 30 years. In order to pay back this loan, you would have to make monthly payments of approximately $1,500 for the next 30 years. This is the way you have been taught by the mortgage and banking industries to manage your money and to repay your mortgage. You have a checking account into which you deposit your income. Once a month you make your mortgage payment via online banking or by writing a check to your lender. What's left over in the checking account you draw out for living expenses using an ATM card or a checkbook. Does this sound familiar to you? Well, that's what we've all been brainwashed into doing by the mortgage and banking industries. And if that's the way you're managing your money and paying off your mortgage right now, then that is guaranteed to keep you in debt for almost your entire lifetime. Let's take a look at a typical mortgage and see what happens to it. Remember our key principle: interest on your mortgage is calculated on the daily balance. And the daily balance on a typical mortgage stays high and stays the same for the entire month until you make a payment. And a large chunk of that payment goes toward paying the interest on that loan, and only a very small portion goes toward reducing the loan balance itself. This then gives you a new daily balance for the following month that stays the same until you make your next monthly payment. And this cycle repeats itself month after month for the next 30 years. I'm sure you're familiar with that if you've looked at your mortgage statements recently. Now let's take a much closer look at our $250,000 mortgage. Specifically, let me show you exactly what happens to the daily interest charged over the first 4 months. Remember, the daily balance stays the same at $250,000 in this example the entire month of January, and consequently the daily interest charge for every single day of January at 6% would be $41.09 per day every single day of January. You make your mortgage payment, the daily balance for February comes down slightly. Consequently, the daily interest charged also reduces. Now it's down to $41.06 per day. Look at this. That's a reduction in the daily interest charged by a total of 3 cents per day, and it took an entire month in order to achieve that reduction. You make your mortgage payment, the daily balance for March comes down, the daily interest charged, now it's down to $41 per day. That's a reduction in the daily interest charged by a total of 6 cents per day from the previous month. It has taken a whole 2 months to achieve a reduction in the daily interest charged by a total of 9 cents per day. You make your mortgage payment, the daily balance comes down, and consequently the daily interest charged reduces by a further 4 cents per day from the previous month. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this doesn't sound very exciting. A reduction in the daily interest charged of 3 cents per day and 6 cents per day and 4 cents per day. But you know what? This is what happens to your $250,000 mortgage over the years because the daily interest charged is being reduced by such a paltry amount. After 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, after 20 years, you will have paid more than what you borrowed and still owe more than half of the original loan amount. After 30 years, the total payments on this $250,000 loan will add up to over $500,000. Why? Because along the way, it will also cost you almost $283,000 in interest. That's what happens when you're only reducing the daily interest charged by a paltry 3 cents per day and 4 cents per day, and bankers and lenders know this. Another way to look at this is to ask yourself, how many houses are you really being forced to pay for with your hard-earned money? Well, it's 2. One for you and one for the bank. And that's just the way they like it. It's all because of the key banking principle, and that is that the interest on your mortgage is calculated on the daily balance. And the higher your daily balance, the more of your payments go toward paying the interest on your loan rather than reducing the loan balance itself. So the million-dollar question is, how do you make the key principle work for you to pay the least amount of interest? Well, the solution's very simple. Keep the daily balance of your mortgage as low as possible. But if this is what you're doing, because that's what you've been taught and encouraged to do in order to make your mortgage payments, then you're going to end up paying for 2 houses, but you're only going to be allowed to keep one of them. So how do you build equity fast? Use the speed equity system. Let me summarize for you how it works. In essence, as soon as you get your paycheck, you transfer that money straight into your mortgage, which immediately reduces the daily balance. And because interest is calculated on the daily balance, this has the effect of immediately reducing the amount of interest you pay. In summary, the speed equity system helps you to use your existing financial resources to keep the daily balance of your mortgage as low as possible so you pay the least amount of interest. And your money ends up working much, much harder for you. Instead of earning around 0.1% in interest by sitting in your checking account, you could be saving up to 6% in interest by having that very same money sitting in your mortgage instead. The best part is that with the speed equity system, I show you how to access your money for living expenses as you need it. Let's recap for a moment. With a traditional mortgage, you only reduce the daily balance once a month and by a very small amount each time. But by injecting your paycheck into your mortgage, you immediately reduce the daily balance by the amount of income that goes into it. And remember, I show you how to draw out your money for living expenses as you need it. By doing this, you will be saving interest in 2 ways. First, the money you don't use will stay in your mortgage, keeping the daily balance down for the following month. Second, the money you do need will also save you interest by keeping the average daily balance for the month down until you use it. These savings will roll into the next month in the form of a lower daily balance, and this new cycle will compound month after month to save you more and more interest. Ultimately, with all this knowledge and my revolutionary speed equity software program, this new way of working smarter will allow you to slash years off your home loan and could save you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest, all without changing your current lifestyle. Before you go on, a word of caution. I've been helping homeowners apply this concept since 1997, and I first introduced my speed equity system in this country in 2003. In that time, there are now a number of companies that have jumped on my bandwagon with copycat programs that they are retailing for up to $3,500 because they're taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge about this concept. My advice to you is that you don't have to pay thousands of dollars to anyone when you can do this yourself for a fraction of the cost, simply by making the choice to educate and empower yourself with this new knowledge. Thank you for watching.